The tale of Prince Ahmed and the flying horse in a kingdom where the desert met the sea and where the palace towers shimmered like pearls beneath the sun, lived a wise and curious sultan. He had 3 sons, each gifted in his own way. Prince Ali, known for his courage, Prince Hussein, admired for his judgment, and Prince Ahmed, the youngest, whose heart was filled with wonder and imagination. One day, during a grand festival held in the palace courtyard, inventors, travelers, and craftsmen from distant lands gathered to present their marvels to the Sultan. Among them was a mysterious stranger dressed in dark robes, carrying an object covered in a silk cloth. When his turn came, he stepped forward and revealed a magnificent horse carved from ebony wood, polished until it gleamed like black glass. The crowd murmured in confusion. It was beautiful, but it was only a statue, or so it seemed. The stranger bowed and said, "This is no ordinary horse. With the turn of a hidden key, it can rise into the sky and travel faster than any creature on earth." The Sultan raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Show us," he said. The stranger mounted the ebony horse, turned a small key near its saddle, and in an instant the horse lifted gracefully into the air. Gasps filled the courtyard as it soared above the palace towers, gliding like a bird across the sky. When it returned, the Sultan was astonished. He wished to buy the horse, but the stranger refused gold, jewels, or land. Instead, he asked for the hand of Princess Naranier, the Sultan's beloved daughter. The Sultan was angered by such boldness and refused. But Prince Ahmed, fascinated by the flying horse, stepped forward. "Father," he said gently, "allow me to examine it. Perhaps I can understand its secrets." The Sultan agreed, and the stranger reluctantly handed the horse to Prince Ahmed. The prince mounted it, turned the key, and before he could ask how to stop it, the horse shot into the sky like an arrow. The palace shrank beneath him. The city became a patchwork of rooftops and winding streets. The desert stretched like a golden sea. Prince Ahmed held on tightly, both terrified and exhilarated. The wind rushed past him, cool and sharp, and the world below became a distant dream. He tried turning the key again, and the horse slowed, hovering gently. With careful movements, he guided it downward, searching for a place to land. After a long journey, he descended into a peaceful valley surrounded by mountains, where the air was fragrant with flowers, and the sound of running water echoed softly. There he found a small palace of white stone. Curious, he approached and was welcomed by its inhabitants, who told him that the valley belonged to a kind and noble king. When Prince Ahmed was brought before him, he explained his strange arrival and the marvel of the flying horse. The king listened with wonder and invited Ahmed to stay as an honored guest. Days passed, and the prince explored the valley, finding beauty in every corner. But what captured his heart most was the king's daughter, a gentle and graceful princess whose laughter was like music. They spent long hours walking through the gardens, speaking of their homelands, their dreams, and the strange twist of fate that had brought Ahmed to her valley. In time, they fell deeply in love, but Prince Ahmed knew he could not remain forever. He had left his family without a word, and the Sultan would be worried. He promised the princess he would return, and asked her father for permission to marry her. The king agreed, but only if Ahmed returned with his father's blessing. With a heavy heart, Ahmed mounted the ebony horse once more. He turned the key, rose into the sky, and began the long journey home. When he arrived at the palace, the Sultan embraced him with relief and joy. Ahmed told him everything, the valley, the princess, and his wish to marry her. The Sultan, moved by his son's sincerity, agreed, but trouble awaited them. The stranger who had brought the ebony horse had been imprisoned for his bold request to marry the princess. When he learned that Prince Ahmed had returned safely, he grew furious. Through trickery, he escaped his cell and fled the palace. Meanwhile, Prince Ahmed prepared to return to the valley to bring his beloved to the kingdom. He mounted the ebony horse once more and soared into the sky. But the stranger, driven by jealousy and revenge, followed him in secret. When Ahmed reached the valley, he was welcomed warmly. The princess joined him on the ebony horse, and together they rose into the sky, returning to the Sultan's kingdom. But as they traveled, the stranger ambushed them, using magic to force the horse off course. The prince and princess were separated, each carried by the winds to distant lands. Prince Ahmed landed in a barren desert, alone and heartbroken. But he refused to give up. He wandered for days, searching for any sign of the princess. Along the way, he encountered travelers, merchants, and nomads, each offering clues. His journey took him through forests, across mountains, and into hidden valleys. At last he found her, safe but frightened, in a distant kingdom where the stranger had tried to force her into marriage. With courage and cleverness, Ahmed confronted the sorcerer and freed the princess from his grasp. Together, they mounted the ebony horse one final time and returned to the Sultan's palace. Their reunion was celebrated with joy, and the Sultan welcomed the princess as his daughter. Prince Ahmed and his beloved were married in a ceremony filled with music, lanterns, and blessings. And the ebony horse, once a mysterious marvel, became a symbol of their journey, a reminder that love, courage, and perseverance can carry the heart farther than any magic ever could. If you liked this video, please support the channel so we can keep growing.